Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round 3 of the Divine Eye Racing Series Division 1. My name is Olaf, aka Bob's Racing, and we're going right into the action because this weekend is a sprint weekend, which means we start with a one-shot qualifying. And I forgot there was this little break in between. I thought we were already in the break. Anyway, this weekend starts off with a one-shot qualifying followed by a sprint race, which is 11 laps long, and then the feature race, which is 50% of the real race, which should be around 30 laps. Today, we've got our sprint race, which can shake up the standings quite a bit. Not as many points scored as in the feature race, but it will define the grid. One of the front runners, DNFs, in the sprint race will have an interesting grid for the feature race. Maybe some last to first challenges by our leaders. And speaking of leaders, we're going to take a quick look at the standings, because not only did we get some interesting results last week, we got some great changing in the standings. First off, getting his second win, Arkid in the Alpine. First place in Kota and first place in Monza, trying to make it 3 this weekend. Followed by Tronzik in the Williams, and then Tuchki in the Ferrari. So very good performance there all around from those 3. Then Paddy losing out on that position on 3rd place, dropping down in 4th. And further down, we can see one driver that got a lot of points. Scottish had a DNF in America and got 2nd place in the Haas in Monza. So that puts him up to a total of 8th place, which can definitely improve on today. Now, for the constructor standings, Williams have dropped down a position, has made an insane jump with that performance last week, and Alpine took the win and is now leading by a single point up front. But for now, we have the one-shot qualifying. We're on board with Swanee in the Williams, currently 2nd place in the standings of the constructors, which means that Swanee and Tronzik have everything to play for. Currently, Mookie first off on the qualifying session. Yuri following right behind Arkid as well. Yuri, one of the fastest drivers here on the grid, as well as Arkid and Scottish. The 2 Haas drivers doing really well. Mookie now dropping behind just a little bit, giving that first position to Yuri. Now following up with a very technical section here. Corners 7 and 8. Should be a few invalidations because of track limits, but no one went over the limits. Maybe the exit here? No, nothing yet. Everyone makes it through smoothly. On to turn 10, which was changed after last season. We now have a very wide sweeper. Turn 11 to the right. And now we follow up with 13 and 14, the final corners. Or is that 12 and 13? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 to the final straight. And we see Yuri taking the flag first and taking pole position, followed by Arkid and Scottish finishing up the top 3, giving Haas a 1 and 3 starting position for the sprint race. And again, all to play for still. Sprint race grid is usually not the way things end at the end of the weekend. We can see Yuri first place, just over 2/10 over Arkid, who has won the previous 2 races. But I believe Yuri did get the pole position last week as well. So maybe this is a sign for things to come for Arkid. Scottish in 3rd, Tronzik, Spongy finishing up the top 5. So 4 British drivers in the top 5. Mookie first place through turn 1 and turn 2, down to 6th. Then we got Swanee, Remix, Tuchki, Jan finishing out the top 10. Then we have Paddy, Mrios, Zervillers, Villiers reserving for the McLaren for Mihu. Robinho, Naismith, Sparrow, Jaspers, Wazar, Divine Eye, and Shermanator not setting a lap, disqualified and starting last on the sprint race grid. So this is going to be very interesting. We don't have a pace for him. We don't have a spot for him to go in. So we'll see what his performance will be like in the sprint race. So 11 laps. No pits, no tire changes. If something happens, you're out. You're done for. You have to wait for the entire race. And then, hopefully, you'll be able to make a good comeback in the feature race, which will be about 30 laps long. That's going to be a banger. I can already tell. Barcelona, the revisited track after the final chicane has finally been taken out and people have got their wish. I'm just waiting for that to be implemented in Assetto Corsa Competizione. It still has the horrible, horrible chicane of the last sector. And I'm not driving the track until that gets fixed. Fortunately, Formula 1 has changed the layout to reflect the better layout, of course. So the track is actually drivable here. So we won't see that many drivers go off in the final chicane, but hopefully we will see some good battles going into turn 1. Not as much in sector 3 anymore, but turn 10 has been made a lot wider. So where you used to see a lot of dive bombs, people going very, very deep in there for a hairpin, it's now a little bit of a wider corner, more room for battling, more room for wheel-to-wheel action that we'll hopefully be seeing today as well. In the meantime, the drivers are adjusting their final little bits of front wing differential and brake bias, just as always, before we go on to the sprint race. And what's even worse here is usually when you go out in qualifying with your setup, you are locked for the entire session and you have to race with that setup. Even worse here, you get 1 lap of qualifying. If you find out, hey, there's something wrong, I have to change it. They change it for the sprint race. You figure out that something for the sprint race is not completely right. You'll have to do the sprint race and the feature race both with the same setup. So, we got the go-ahead from the stewards that we can start driving. Start readying up and make sure that timer goes counting down. And we get ready for the formation lap around Barcelona, Catalunya circuit. Yuri taking pole position and Scottish in third, which looks to be the same formation that they were in last week. But for now, we're going to not change anything here because I already did that. Track map on, so you can see the beautiful new layout. I just love this track. It looks so beautiful from the track map. I don't know why. It's either nostalgia from Gran Turismo or it's just the way that the track looks. That it's an actual circuit. Wazaa and Shermanator already being teleported to the grid, making sure that they don't have their temperatures. And this is a sight no one wants to see. If we look at this, this is a very common sight for Mercedes fans. 2016, horrible, horrible moment. Hopefully we won't see any of that happening here if Scottish manages to get past in the first 3 turns. You're still in first place, as is obviously mandated by the formation lap. And hopefully he'll get a bit of a better start, because if you remember last week, Yuri had a horrible start. He dropped down 2 or maybe 3 positions, and when he looks in the mirror, he's going to see the same thing this week as he has in Monza last week, where he had Arkid, Scottish and Tronzik behind as well. So he's maybe gonna have some little bit of flashbacks, maybe learn from his mistakes there, and can actually defend from it this time. So for the standings, this means that Yuri is currently in 7th place. He finished 13th in Monza, which is obviously not a very good position to start or to finish, or to start your season, but to finish in the championship. He dropped down a few positions, getting overtaken by Marios and Kiania in the Mercedes. Currently not driving and has been replaced with Remix for the day. Drivers all lining up now on the grid. Final cars aligning as well. The grid goes wild on my MFD, which means that we're getting ready to race. I cannot see the lights, but they're out and we're racing in Barcelona. Yuri gets a pretty good start, but Arkid is with it as well. Side by side, wheel to wheel directly. Yuri and Arkid are going at it. Yuri's still ahead into turn 1. Scottish getting attacked as well, using the inside line there. It looks like Yuri got tapped a tiny little bit. Tronzik getting past Scottish there on the inside line. looking to get into third place. Yuri still up in front. Arcade not backing off, taking a line on the outside, but doesn't make it stick. Tronzik now up in third. Scottish down to fourth, doing the Yuri start from last week, losing a position there. The Aston Martin's dropping down, as well as Swanee moves up all the way into fifth place. A very good start from him. Then we have Jan in 8th place. Remix down to 9th. The McLaren drivers all the way back as well. Paddy down to 12th as Yuri is still holding on. And there's a car off on the side a little bit. I believe that was... that might have been Spongy or Mookie, one of the Astons. And now Remix attacks for P7 into turn 10. And as I said, some side-by-side battling through turn 10 on the outside around turn 11. Mookie keeps it ahead, but there we go. There's Remix, who actually pulled ahead with the exit there. And there has been an incident with Naismith being out of the race. And Shermanator getting collected there as well. His entire front wing broken off. And there's a virtual safety car being deployed for that incident. Shermanator going in. And I don't think the other drivers have had any incidents yet. So we finally have a little bit of a breather. And we can look at the standings. Where we see Tronzik gaining a position. And Scottish losing one. Swanee going up 2. And Mookie losing 2 here. Villiers and Robinho both gaining positions as well as Paddy and Rios lose. Divine now up 4, and we're back to the racing action already. Didn't even get to look at the tire compound. The front's all running the softs, and further down it's a mix of softs and mediums. Might have something to do with the start as well. So, for now, Shermanator in the pit. In his first stop, currently out of the pit, 30 seconds behind Jaspar's. Got a little bit of a cheaper pit stop than the rest, which might work in his favor towards the end here. But, of course, the damaged front wing did not help, and the contact didn't either. Dutchkey dropping down to 11th place as he gets overtaken by the McLaren of Sir Villiers. Heading on to the final stretch of the circuit. DRS has been enabled as we're entering lap 3. Lap 3 still in this season. Next season we might be running on the new game, as we see Spongy almost sending it up the inside of Swanee as I accidentally turn on the telemetry. Swanee defending it. Spongy looking to go around the outside, but doesn't go for it just yet. Keeps behind. Looks on the outside though, forcing Swanee to go defensive and take an alternative line. Spongy looking for that attack though. He's so close on it. He stays side by side into turn 5. Doesn't make it as Swanee goes really deep on the brakes there. And he has to stare to the back at the back of this Williams for a little while longer. They're both losing time, so they're out of DRS already for this next section, which means that Spongy might be able to make an overtake happen here into turn 10. Swanee going defensive. Spongy on the outside. Going a bit deep there from the Williams. Almost a switchback happening there from Spongy, but doesn't have enough speed to make anything happen. Still alternative line into the final section, final corners. There's another DRS section coming up as well. Yuri sets the fastest lap, followed by Tronzik beating that as well. Look up front. We have Arkid, Tronzik, Scottish, all with DRS. Arkid looking not close enough as we see Spongy zooming past and getting 5th place off of Swanee. A beautiful, beautiful, quick, easy DRS move down the straight. Up ahead, Tronzik still looking. Arkid has been looking for a little bit, which allowed Tronzik to also take a peep at what positions he can get. There he is, already showing himself in the mirrors, saying, "Hey, Arkid, you want to win number 3? Gotta defend from me first." Yuri's still in 1st place. His teammate Scottish looking to add to the defense as well. Jan overtaking Remix into 7 and 8. The chicane. Remix immediately vulnerable from the McLaren behind. So we're looking at a small train here with DRS. Remix on the inside there. Can keep the position. Villiers almost ready to strike back there. Remix here on the medium compound. Has a disadvantage on grip, but still keeps 9th position. Look at the tires here. You see that the medium runners have shuffled down a little bit. Besides Mookie. Mookie and Remix are doing pretty well. Touchkey the same. He's hanging on. Even though his compound is a little bit harder than the rest. Up front, no real action just yet. The top 4 have run clean. About 2.5 seconds to Spongy. Swanee almost clear as well. Outside of that 1 second gap that they need in order to break free of the DRS. Cars behind all within a train. It's going to make it very difficult to overtake more than one car at the same time. It's going to be difficult to overtake regardless of what happens. Jan here with a very close following. Mookie on those mediums. It looks like there's been a small collision there already. That's how close he is. Jan having the overspeed there massively. Looking for a move there. Mookie going defensive into 10. Still has the inside line. Allows Jan to take the inside for the next turn. He does it. He sends it up the inside. But Mookie carries a lot of speed. Hits the sausage and then loses time. And there's a Remix to pick up the scraps. And he doesn't just yet. On the medium still, Remix. Very, very impressive from the Mercedes driver. Looking to get the overtake done right here. Very high wing. Looks like. And he goes to the right side of the AlphaTauri. Gets the overtake done, and there it is, the rear wing of Remix. As he gets the overtake done, and Tronzik going around the outside of Arkid. Looks to have a little bit of a problem. Lost 2 positions to a mistake. Tronzik and Scottish both through, as we're halfway through this race. And the overtakes just don't stop coming. It's insane how much action we've seen already. We see Sir Villiers defending from Tutschke for the final place in the top 10. And now the medium runners might be looking to gain a little advantage on the soft runners. Jan making a mistake, going wide. Sir Villiers almost getting a position there. But Jan hanging on by a thread. And the McLaren looking to do some damage. Tutschke is there as well. The McLaren getting past, almost opening the door there for Tutschke as well. As Tutschke goes off, and it appears that he's got damage on his front wing. Robinho and Paddy both going through. Now Tutschke does not have the damage, but it appears another car might have. There it is, the end plate of Robinho has been taken off, and he's drawing into the pits for repairs as Scottish makes the overtake happen, but Arkid goes defensive into turn 1. But Scottish has the inside again for turn 2, is ahead for turn 3, keeps the position, and overtakes, making it currently a Haas 1-2 as Yuri pulls away and is already almost 2 seconds clear of the pack behind. Small train here, 3rd to 4th, all within half a second in total almost, which is quite crazy to see. Remix looking to make an overtake happen as well on Swanee. Trying to score some more points for the constructors, take them away from Williams, who are currently 2nd place in the standings. Tronzik looking to get some more points off of Arkid, wanting to get Williams back up top as well. Currently Tronzik in 2nd place. 1 win away from getting that 1st place. 15 points currently behind Arkid. Arkid makes a single mistake and it's over for him. That's what's going to be so fun. But the early races of the season is that 1 change in standing, 1 change in win can result in very, very, very big changes in the standings. For now, Tronzik sticking behind. Swanee looking to get something done on Mookie. Mookie going defensive. Swanee staying on the inside, keeping it there. Mookie running a bit wide, so these softs still have a lot more grip. Remix almost ready to pounce on that action as well. Who appears to have not enough grip to get the exit there done out of 3. Stays behind, but currently in 7th place. Very good run. If you look at the standings here, we see that Remix got a position. Mookie lost 2. Swanee also gaining 1. The front almost been equalized than what it was before, but Scottish gaining 1 on Arkid. Wazar making a good run as well, gaining 4 positions. Divine Eye gaining 3 as well after what appears to be a disappointing qualifying. The fronts are all running the softs, as you can see, where Remix and Mookie are the exception here. There appears to be some fighting going on here behind. Mookie is sending it on Remix. Remix still on the inside. Mookie carrying more speed, but it's not enough for the radius of the corner. Remix staying ahead, going into turn 14. Up front, Arkid going for the overtake, getting Scottish back, returning the top 4 to their original standings at the start of the race, going into lap 9. Stuchki overtakes Jan with the DRS as well, going into the first turn of the lap. As there's a yellow flag, appears to be in the final sector. That might be Jasper's. Going slowly, way at the back. He's got Robinho behind him. Robinho having pitted Terminator as well. Robinho now gaining that position into the start-finish straight. Stuchki getting overtaken again, but keeping the outside line. And the softs appear to still have a bit more grip. Look at that exit there of Jan. Having the inside line through that little kink. Going into 7 and 8. And now has that extra bonus. So the medium tire still not being advantageous for these drivers. Villiers still behind Mookie as well. Has the soft tire, but has to make the move quickly. Otherwise the tires will drop off for those final 2 laps. And almost gets alongside of the Aston Martin, but doesn't get close enough just yet and has to stick behind for another lap. Maybe wait for the DRS. And if we look at DRS, it's the front pack that's clear. Yuri, 1 second ahead of Arkid, who's gaining time, but being attacked by Scottish. Only has a few more opportunities. Remix getting really close there to overtake Mookie, and he is ahead at the end of turn 1. This opens up opportunities for the cars behind to join in the battle as well. As Villiers is very close with those soft tires, but they're dropping off fast. As Arkid sends it up. Scottish almost getting that position, but Arkid defending on the inside. Still has it going into 7, almost blocking off anything that Scottish does, but makes a small mistake. And now Tronzik's in the battle as well. They're all on the soft tire. And if you look behind here, see that Scottish has the DRS. Arkid does not, as he's more than 2 seconds past. Scottish looking to make an overtake happen, but also has to look behind him, as there is Tronzik looking ahead and trying to overtake both of these. There's only 1 lap remaining. All of these drivers losing each other time, so no one can take the win off of Yuri, and he's finally going to see the checkered flag in first place. But Arkid having to defend from behind, as Scottish will have DRS going into turn 1. It's going to be a wild guess what's going to happen, as Tronzik also has the DRS. Scottish now going past. Arkid is on the inside, but looks like Tronzik has a bad exit there, as Scottish goes past and takes 2nd place, but now he has to defend. There's another DRS zone coming up after turn 9, as it looks like Remix gets overtaken as well into turn 2. There's a yellow flag momentarily there at the end. It looked like for Sparrow maybe. The Remix now on the inside of Swanee does send it up, and it looks like this soft might just be dropping off now in the final lap. Small contact. And looks like Mookie still on there, but there goes Swanee back at it again. Got tapped out a little bit, but trying to retrieve those positions again. And there's more battling going on behind as well. Tushki shooting through, Jan dropping back. Paddy trying to pick up the slivers there. Remix getting 7th position and is now stuck behind Mookie. Swanee right behind as well. Has to look a little bit, but there's some more stuff going on behind Tuchki and Jan. Also trading positions. Jan going further up. Stuchki goes off, and it looks like he's in 13th place. Has a little spin. And Arkid DNFs right at the end. Tronzik moves up to 3rd position. Spongy to 4th. And it looks like Arkid just DNF'd in the final corner. You can see it right here. If you follow the drivers up front, rounding the final corners, you can see right here, this is where it happened. That's where Arkid DNF'd. You see the debris on the side there. And Haas making a 1-2 with Yuri in first, Scottish in second. Arkid, our winner of the first 2 races. This is exactly what I called right before the qualifying, right before the race. Is that if one of the top runners DNFs, there is a huge chance for them to do something funky in the race. To do a last to first challenge. But one person that doesn't have to do a last to first challenge is Yuri. He did the first 2 first challenge, winning from pole and making it a Haas 1-2 with Scottish right behind him. Tronzik finishing up the podium to get your top 3 already. Spongy picking up the scraps and ending up in 4th place right in front of his teammate Mookie. Which is a very good showing from Aston Martin as well. Followed up by Remix. Then Jan getting 7th place after battling a lot with Tuchki, who eventually dropped further down. Villiers, a very good start here. Getting a lot of positions there. Swanee finishing up the Williams team, gaining a lot of points as well. Paddy in 10th. Then we have Mario, Stuchki, Wazza, Divine Eye, Sparrow, Robinho, Shermanator, Jaspars, Arkid, and Naismith ultimately DNFing there towards the end of the race. So both of these drivers have not shown their points yet for today. And if we look at the standings, we see that Alpine is currently in first, but has taken a big hit as Shermanator had to pit and is all the way at the back. Arkid is all the way at the back as well. So Williams might just have taken second position off of Alpine for now. But there's still a feature race. Can Shermanator and Arkid gain positions for this race enough to gain enough points? We'll have to wait and see. For now, going to take a quick little break before the feature race. Get ready for it. Grab some water, grab some snacks, and we'll get excited for the race. And here we are ready to go into the feature race. 33 laps total for the Barcelona race, with the starting grid from the finishing order of the sprint race. Of course, Naismith DNFing first, being in last place now. Arkid DNFing right before the final corner. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, because this is where the big points are being scored. Yuri up front after winning from pole position. Scottish in second place, making it a 1-2 for Haas in the sprint race. Let's look to make it a 1-2 in the feature race as well. Possible strategies: softs to mediums or softs to hard. Let's see what the drivers have chosen. Softs, mediums, and hards. Mostly mediums. So they'll be looking to do probably a 2-stop, because I don't think this track deserves a 1-stop at all. I believe the tire wear will be quite significant, especially through turn 8 and through turn 9. Turn 3 is also very deadly, and of course the final turn 14. The left side tire is really going to be tested today, where the drivers have to manage that as well. Lots of medium runners. Scottish on the soft. Might want to look to gain an advantage on his teammate way up front. And Sparrow and Jaspers both on the hard compounds of the Alfa Romeo team. Choosing to go for an overcut, a very long stint at the start to maybe try and get some softs bolted on towards the end of the race. Maybe trying to make it a one-stop after all. We'll have to wait and see. For now, the drivers readying up, going towards the grid. Yuri slotting in first, Scottish finishing up the front row. There's a small gap there between Remix and Mookie. No one disqualified from the formation lap this time around. As we'll look for the final drivers to get their cars on the grid. Arkid and Naismith. Let's see what they can do in this race to recover. Sparrow was disqualified from the session here at the final few seconds, meaning he did not get the tire temps. Lights are on. And they're off. As we're racing at Barcelona with the feature race, you're getting a good start. Scottish as well. Looks to like he wants to make something happen, but doesn't have the pace for it. Tronzik right up on the inside, though. Looking to make something happen. Almost overtaken, but has the inside here for turn 2. Does get there, but will Scottish be ahead still? Yes, he will. Some shuffling behind. Spongy going wide there after turn 2. And there's a spin there for Swanee going wide and absolutely slamming it. And currently in last place. Has to recover there. Some shuffling further behind as well. Villiers getting ahead of Jan. And there's some fighting there as Mookie shuffles further behind. And some more contact in between as well. No DNFs just yet. Spongy dropping back as well. Way further down into P10. Divine Eye getting an amazing start. All the way up to 11th. And look at who's in 12th. It's Shermanator coming from all the way at the back. And Naismith gaining some position in 17th, Arkid in 15th, so those starts were really nice as well. Shermanator here looking to get something happen as Divine Eye takes 10th position off of Spongy. And maybe Shermanator looking to make an overtake happen here as well. Yes, he does. He is on the inside there and gets the position of Spongy way up front still. Yuri Scottish has 1-2 until now. DRS will be activated in lap 3, so that's not lap 2 just yet. Haas will stay in this formation for now. Scottish having the softer tire compound might want to look and get something done there. Swanee gaining some positions back after having that spin. Got 14th place back from Rios, who lost some positions there. If we look at all of this, we see that Spongy, Touchkey, Arkid and Naismith, all 4 of them in the pit. So Naismith and Arkid getting some damage there as Scottish does indeed go past, and that's even before the DRS zone and before DRS is even activated, so this is purely on the pace of the softs. Looking at this, we see that Mookie lost position, Swanee lost 5, Marios lost 4, and the rest all gained quite a bit. Robinho gaining 7, Shermanator gaining 6 off of that start, and Arkid staying in 19th. Very good start from Shermanator in the Alpine. His teammate has to make up for that as well, as Naismith has bolted on the intermediates. I don't think it's raining here, so he's going to have a very hard time. Got to go back into the pit to get something done for that. Tronzik getting the fastest lap, even though Scottish is on the softer compound. Maybe Scottish got held back by his teammate there into turn 1, as we saw that in the previous lap. DRS has been activated now, so drivers can open up their rear wing to get a little bit more top speed if they are within a second of the car ahead at the detection zone. For now, close fighting in several areas. 1st to 9th, all within a second of each other. Currently P7, 8. Very close to the cars ahead. Villiers right behind Mookie, looking to do something that looks like a switchback. And it does look like a switchback. Some wheel banging there from Mookie as well, as he's unhappy with losing the position. But a beautiful overtake there by Villiers. Now Paddy looking to pick up the scraps as well, as he's getting ready to pounce back with the DRS. Doesn't get anything done just yet, as Mookie regains that position on the inside. But Villiers gets tapped, and Mookie gets tapped actually, spinning out into the gravel trap. losing several positions after trying to regain that position back. Had a very good run there, but now rejoined and all the way down into 13th. Villiers up into 6th, but look at 5th place. We got Jan dropping down a second. Remix also outside of the second. Yuri very close to his teammate, not being able to get the overtake done. Back to P1. Shermanator getting up to 9th place. Divine Eye drops down to 10th position. And now looking at the final points finishes there. Might want to pick up the pace a little bit more to get some more points in for Ferrari, because Ferrari did so well last season. Got 2nd place in the standings, I believe. And now fighting for scraps. Touchkeen 18th, Divine Eye in 10th. Not the team they were last season. Sometimes you just have to have luck in your favor. Villiers looking for an overtake here on Jan, who does not have DRS on the car ahead. Nor does Remix. He's pulled a little bit of a gap. And Wazar now taking the position of a Divine Eye. Divine Eye looking to get the switchback done. Stays on the outside. Goes back onto the line. And Wazar getting that position. So the Red Bull overtaking the Ferrari for 10th place. Divine Eye dropping further and further back as Yuri gets the overtake done here on the start-finish straight. Villiers as well. Jan dropping back 2 positions in total as Paddy follows through. And Divine Eye gaining his position back and is now 10th place as Wazar did not have the DRS. So some shuffling around in the order. Most importantly, Yuri taking back the lead of the race on the medium compound. Scottish having to sit behind with the softs. Probably not very happy with what happened here. Probably wants to get all of those positions back. Yeah, now getting a 3-second time penalty, which is crucial right here. If you look at the tightness of this pack, it's so close on qualifying, but it's even closer in the race. Those 3 seconds can lose him singular 2 or maybe even 3 positions towards the end. Currently, only 1, luckily. But Shermanator is on the rise. Look at him. Gaining 8 positions. Robinho as well, up from their starting positions. And also on the medium tire. Swanee gaining a position as well after that lap 1 incident. He's ahead of Sparrow. Divine Eye was both battling still for those final point scoring positions. And now Tronzik zooming past Scottish. Even on the soft compound, he's not able to get past. He's losing so much time on the exits there. And look at Paddy also gaining that position, following Remix's teammate and making it 4-5 currently for Mercedes. Divine Eye and Wazar still battling into turn 1. Not as smooth as the rest of the overtakes were. And there goes Mookie looking to make something happen there as well. On the inside of Wazar. Got the position. Now looking on the inside of Divine Eye into turn 4. Has the line on the inside. Wheel to wheel. Gets the position done. Opens the door for Wazar as well. Wazar running off Divine Eye, who has to take the runoff a bit. And seems to be pushed off the track. That was not a move that he'll be happy with. And the stewards will definitely hear about this one. Villiers looking behind, but also looking ahead as Paddy does not seem to clear the gap as easily as Remix has. Remix in his own little world for now. But the McLaren car really wanting that position. Has the DRS and probably will get the overtake done here on the start-finish straight. But we'll see if the AlphaTauri will be there as well. Scottish gaining that position for free with the DRS. And as I said, the AlphaTauri also getting past the Mercedes. Paddy dropping back 2 positions where he gained 2 positions recently on the previous lap. Swanee gaining that position as well. Not going defensive. Was all looking, but doesn't gain anything in terms of track space to work with. Has to stick behind and wait for the other DRS zone. Looks like he went a little bit wide, so Marios can pick up some stuff. Divine Eye pitted. Bolting on the new tires. Look like hard tires, and they are clean, new, fresh hards. To go and start his second stint of the race. Yuri now approaching the first back marker after Naismith also has done his first stop. He's done 2 stops already. Went on to the intermediates at the beginning of the race. Now back onto the hards. And is now currently starting his 7th lap, as Yuri is about to start his 8th. Muriel's now overtaking Waza into turn 10. Waza looking a bit squirrely, as Sparrow is looking to get an overtake done as well. Tronzik getting past for P2, splitting the Haas drivers at the top. Robinho going past as well, but Paddy nowhere to be found still. He's way behind still of the McLaren of Villiers. Not able to keep up with the pace. Is on the soft tire, so he is on the medium tire actually. I thought it was on the soft. The one's on the soft is Scottish, not being able to pick up on the pace. Tronzik getting the overtake done every single time, and Scottish having to stick behind. He might be able to get an overtake done here after turn 9, going into turn 10. But then he has to pull a gap that's so big that Tronzik cannot overtake with the DRS. And he waits behind. Tactically done for the final DRS zone, DRS activation, DRS detection point here at the end of the track. Within half a second of the Williams. Looking to get the detection point after this corner. Great exit here. Following closely. There's the point. He will have the DRS slapping open. There we go. Onto the overtake. Has half a lap to get clear of that second. Tronzik going to be defensive, but Scottish on the inside. Getting past, clearing the Williams car, and getting that second position back. He goes a bit deep there after turn 2. But looks to create a small gap. Tronzik going wide and ending up losing time. This is exactly what Scottish would want. Now further down, we see Robinho getting real close to Remix, trying to drop another Mercedes down a few positions. Look at that, Tronzik almost a second down already, which will put him outside of the DRS. And Scottish really has to push now to get outside of that second. And maybe pull clear of Tronzik, as this little train from 4th place down to 8th is still running very close. Robinho has the DRS. Remix does not. So that is freely open to take. But maybe Robinho looked a little bit from the moves of Scottish. Look at this. Tronzik now close to a second. We'll have a look at the delta when he hits the detection point. It should be right now. He is within the second. It's going to be close. Yes, he did get the DRS there. But he might be just too far away to get the overtake done. We're looking a bit further behind, as the McLaren is also pulling out of the slipstream. Robinho getting that position. Villiers not just yet. Might look for it on the inside. Sends it into turn 1. And gains 5th place. Dropping Remix down with his teammate. Makes a small mistake. Hits the sausage there into turn 2. Remix is looking for something to do back, to fight back, but doesn't have the opportunity to do so. Looks for a little bit into turn 4. But then ultimately does not get anything out of it. P5 for the McLaren. Arkid, in the meantime, moving up as well, as we see some drivers into the pits. It's Waza going in and switch to the medium tire. Remember that Scottish is still on the soft tire. The only driver here setting basically what's the benchmark for the rest of the drivers to see how long those hard tires will last. So we can see that Sparrow, Jaspars, Arkid, Dutchkey, Spongy, all on the hard tires way at the back. Might look to get a little bit of information from the Haas, as Tronzik is a little bit closer now towards the end of this lap compared to the previous one. Has the DRS wide open, 6 tenths behind, 5 tenths, 4 tenths, 3 tenths, side by side, almost going to turn 1, but no, not nearly close enough yet. Scottish going a little bit deep, and Paddy overtaking his teammate there. So Remix just dropping further behind, as Swanee gets the 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Muriel's trying to pick up on that with the DRS. Looking on the inside, goes for the send into the first turn of the track. Makes the overtake stick and plants it on the apex. So Swanee has no chance of getting anything back. So a 3-second time penalty and a position lost, and he's off. He has spun again into turn 3. Dropping some more positions. Sparrow overtaking it. Now Jaspar's following up, but a bit too far to gain anything out of that for now. Scottish defending from the Williams. Still half a second behind. Doesn't have the pace to catch up yet. The softs are still running fast. Still good. The mediums are not on the upper hand just yet. Some gaps being dropped as well. Currently we have P1 clear 3 seconds. Yuri leading the race. Then we have Scottish and Tronzik in a fight for P2. Robinho and Villiers in a battle for 4th. And Paddy, Remix, and Jan in a battle for 6th. And then we have a big gap to Shermanator in 9th. And look at this. Tronzik getting another overtake done with the DRS into turn 1. Getting that second position back that he claimed way at the start of the race. Remix now overtaking back into the position. But Paddy getting sent off, hitting the grass. And now Jan is free to roam in between and splitting these Mercedes drivers. Wants to look for another one here. Doesn't have the speed to do it just yet. Look at Shermanator. All the way did he come from? He gained 8 positions. But look at the positions gained from Robinho. Currently in 4th place. Has the gap in front of him to clear. And a McLaren behind that's attacking. But it should be a piece of cake for a driver of his caliber. Jan now has the DRS. And needs that DRS. Because he has a 3-second time penalty hanging over his head, which will go against him towards the end of the race, dropping him back positions of every single car that's within 3 seconds of him, or that finishes within 3 seconds of him. Onto the start-finish rate, but Remix might not be the target here. It might just be his own position, as Paddy is looking to get something done as well. Both drivers having the DRS open. Remix not going defensive, forcing Jan on the inside line, but does get something done here. And Paddy gaining the position on Remix as well. Remix looking for the switchback, still on the outside, but doesn't get anything done. And has to stick behind his teammate. So a little bit of a dance between these two. Paddy and Remix. Almost having flashbacks there to exactly what I mentioned a little bit before. The two Mercedes drivers into turn 4. But it all went smoothly here. As we see Swanee going into the pits, changing his tires. They will be fitting on the new hards, and he might be finishing the race on this one. 20 laps on the hards is not unheard of, and we see Jasper's going in as well, bolting on new medium. So he might also try and finish the race on that compound. As you see, the mediums already lasting 12 laps, but the softs of Scottish doing the exact same. As he's pulling into the pits, as Villiers overtakes Robinho. And that's quite a big gap already for someone who just overtook that. Might be a small mistake there from the AlphaTauri. We'll have DRS now to counterattack. Scottish obviously dropping back from that pit lane. And indeed he does. Robinho gets that position back. Villiers, the McLaren, has to stick behind for now. Paddy gaining the overtake on Remix. Scottish not yet exiting the pits. Where will he end up? Right behind Marios. Side by side into turn 1 it will be, but Marios' tires are obviously already heated. Scottish going on the mediums after hitting that soft. Going very risky there. I think if he went to the hards he could have maybe finished the race on it. But with the cleaner tires, instantly gains the position on Marios. Currently in 10th place, and it can only go up from here because everyone ahead of him, besides, no, everyone ahead of him still has to stop. So he gained a full pit stop there on Marios and Sparrow, because they're not on the stop just yet. As Swanee gains a position after having a horrendous start, and then another incident on the same corner. Currently in P17, dropped all the way back as we're almost halfway through the race. And Yuri is still leading. He's got a 5-second gap. And there's another 5-second gap to the drivers behind, as Robinho pulls into the pits as he thinks his mediums are done for. Absolutely blasted. Completely destroyed. Jan gains the position back here. This dance between these three drivers, Jan, Petty, and Remix, it's been going on for quite a while now. Shermanator up into 7th place. Of course, with these pits. Now, Scottish did gain a lot of time there on Robinho. Robinho now might have chosen for the hard tire after running the mediums for a while, and he has. So only 18 more laps for these hard tires to go to the end, and he might just make it. If the mediums last 15 laps, that means Scottish might have a little bit of a problem towards the end of the race. Spongy getting P14 off of Dutchkey. So the Ferrari driver is having a horrendous weekend here at Barcelona. Scottish now overtaking Mookie for P8. These are all net positions, but remember, everyone around Scottish still has to pit. So that's first place through 7th, and then 9th, 10th, and 11th, which is now 12th place as Robinho gains 11th place back. Does not have to stop anymore. As Yuri dives into the pit and Tronzik gains the lead. Jan going in as well, and we're going to see where Yuri is going to change. He's going to fit on the hard compound. We're going to see where he ends up compared to Scottish. Scottish currently on the straight. Yuri getting out in front pretty clearly. Scottish now lining up on the straight. Has the DRS from one of the cars that pulled into the pits. And slots down. Yuri here losing about 3 seconds in total from that undercut of Scottish. Might gain a bit more, but Scottish on the mediums tried to undercut his teammate there maybe, but ended up being 2 seconds short for now though. Tronzik leading the race by about 5 seconds, and Paddy 3 seconds behind P2. So Villiers in the McLaren being a bit clear of everything that's going on around him. Tronzik now leading. Knows that he doesn't have the lead. He needs to wait and see where he ends up after the pits. Might go in now as well as a response to what everyone else is doing. Stays out, might even, dare I say, go for the gamble and move onto the softs after hitting the mediums. He hasn't stopped yet, nor has Villiers, nor has Paddy or Remix or Mrios. If you look at the tire compounds, they're still running those mediums, all of them. So they might extend their first stint to get something done on the final stint with the clean softs. So a one stop for those drivers. The only driver I'm not sure that will get a one stop as Mrios goes in and to change the tires, going from the mediums onto, what will it be? Hards. Hards for Mrios. Did 16 laps on the mediums, now goes onto the hards for another 16 laps. Which is a very interesting choice. To make those tires last shorter. Of the medium tire longer. He could have switched off a bit earlier, but decided not to. Going a little bit early, a little bit late on that stop, extending his first stint. Very uncommon strategy there. Spongy looking to fight with touch key. As for some reason my shift key stopped working for a moment and just moved it up to Tronzik in first place. We all know he's clear, but he just has to go into the pits. And he is actually extending what I thought that Mrios would do as well. Spongy now in a pickle, wants to attack touch key, but still has Shermanator behind him to attack. Does not have the DRS, maybe not within the range, but does send it up in the inside of turn 10. And now has that position done and dusted. Shermanator, a great comeback so far in 11th place. Will have DRS to attack Touchkey. Touchkey now under fire of 2 cars. Shermanator up first, will go on the inside as Touchkey doesn't go defensive, stays on the outside. Spongy now looking to pick up some scraps, maybe, but not close enough just yet. Has to stick behind, and we're waiting for Tronzik to pull into the pits and see where he ends up. Yuri might just have done the undercut. Scottish is gaining. If you look at the gaps between all of these drivers, Scottish has put the gap down by a few tenths over the past few laps. Dutchkey losing pace absolutely nowhere on this hard compound. He's been on that for quite a few laps already. 16 laps as he's pitted on one of the early laps. Might just put on a new set of softs in the next few laps. Tronzik diving into the pits. Here we're going to see the mediums being swapped for softs. It's going to be the gamble, extending the first stint and now having 14 laps on the softs. It's doable. It's definitely doable. As Yuri gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That is the last thing you'd want to see as contender for the win. Because Tronzik drops down all the way down to 7th and is now behind Robinho. Losing so many positions on that overcut. He's just been undercut by everyone at this point. Look at the gap to Scottish. It's currently 9 seconds to Scottish. That's over 10 seconds to Yuri. Yuri now very close to Remix. Gets a bit of DRS help here to get a bit of an advantage, pulling away back from Scottish. But Scottish needs to make those tires last towards the end. He's on the mediums from the softs. A very daring strategy, dare I say. Even more so than Tronzik. Tronzik having to stick behind for now. Yuri needs that 3-second gap behind. Knows that the cars ahead of him still have to pit. And they might do it this lap, which would be a gift for him. And there you go. There's Paddy into the pits. Diving in as well as Villiers. Both of them going in. Yuri now having that DRS. Being able to overtake. Remix letting him past. Knows that this is not his fight. This is not his race. And Yuri retaking the lead once again of this race. Tronzik now in 7th place. Wants to get 6th. Currently in 5th after we see Villiers and Paddy going into the pits. Getting P4 back. But now he's looking at the enormous 8-second gap ahead of him. As Tutschke goes into the pits once again to replace his old hard tires for new softs. Naismith DNFing, making it a double DNF. Going for the mediums actually on Tutschke. Very interesting strategy here. Stationary for a bit longer than he'd like, but that is just a little bit of connection issue. Tronzik fighting with Robinho. Keeping 4th place, but look at up front here. More penalties and penalties being given away as there's a safety car. Unsure why there's a safety car being called. I don't think anything happened. We don't have any DNFs. Might be some debris on the track. But we see Wazar pulling in. All of these drivers pulling in. Swanee going in. Wazar going in. Divine Eye, Jaspers. All dropping in for free stop. Tronzik got undercut. But this is a gift for him this time. And not for Yuri. He has a 10-second gap ahead, which will be nullified with this safety car. Yuri going back in. As he was on the hards. 5-lap old hards. Will definitely bolt on the softs. As Remix gets his first stop of the race here. And changes to the soft compound. And the top will definitely shuffle around now. Tronzik now in the lead of the race. Robinho 2nd place. Yuri drops down to 3rd place. Remix coming out in 4th. Might be 5th. Don't know exactly where the line is. And there it is. Remix in 4th. Villiers in 5th. Scottish down to 6th place. We see a lot of shuffling as well down here. Arkid in 10th as there's a double stop for Alpine. But Robinho gets a 5-second penalty for a collision with Tronzik. There might have been some brake checking up in front. And Robinho having that 5-second penalty is great for Tronzik. The 2 cars behind have penalties. So the first rival he's got on the track is Remix in 4th. So Tronzik looking ahead. As my voice is going to take a little bit of a break after this first 2/3 of the race. We've got the final third coming up in just a minute. So go grab your water, grab your snack. As the safety car will be gathering the cars. And we go racing again in just a few laps time. Safety car will be in this lap, and Tronzik will have the hammer to drop. If we look at the tire compounds that all the drivers have, the fronts have almost all switched to softs. Mookie onto the hards, Sparrow still on the mediums, all the way up to 9th. And Arkit on 10th from coming way back from 19th. Tronzik now able to go whenever he pleases before the timing line drops it now. Very uncomfortable place, and everyone behind him thinks the exact same. We have a few drivers close to it, but Yuri not awake enough. Goes on the outside. Tronzik defending on the inside, but there's a small tap there. Tronzik going wide because of that. Sparrow getting a 3-second time penalty, but Yuri retaking the lead of this race in a beautiful fashion there. Small wheel-to-wheel battling. Tronzik getting unsettled. Now having to defend from the Mercedes behind. Spongy getting a position as well. Arkit up into 9th, battling for 10th place. Look at all of these cars. Almost going 3-4 wide, as Shermanator is also looking to get some points for Alpine in the pocket. Does get the position, and it's now 9-10th for Alpine. Getting back into the fight with Williams for the lead of the championship, but it's not going to be enough with 9th and 10th, as Tronzik is currently in 2nd place. Swanee now choosing to go the short route after he's got another spin and some more damage. Going onto the grass and very slowly on the back straight there. Touchkey going on the inside of Sparrow and gaining a position as well. Sparrow now vulnerable from behind. Spazal looks on the inside, gets damaged and gets spun around. He's now backwards on the wrong side of the track. Has to rejoin. Very good spin there from the... forgot which car it was. Rubinho DNFing. He retired. After such a good start, he retired from the race. Finishing in 19th. I believe it was the Red Bull, after all, doing the spin. Here we see Yuri, who has the 3-second time penalty. Swanee also taking a DNF there. 18th place for him. Yuri has 3 seconds behind him to clear. Currently on 1.6 seconds. Has a nice gap. Remix, his only savior for the next 9 laps. Within a second, is able to get some attention from Tronzik. Paddy gaining a position there. Scottish goes a little bit wide. Instantly vulnerable from the AlphaTauri behind. Almost sending it up the inside there. Almost ready for contact. Jan looking to be a little bit more safe. Remix now. DRS enabled, which will be for the next lap as the DRS zone starts at the line before the timing line. Remix sending up the inside of Tronzik and making Tronzik lose another position there. Tronzik keeping it on the inside, but doesn't have the pace to do it. Yuri being very happy with this battle. Currently looking to gain that lead. Shermanator getting very close to Mookie after Arkid overtook him. And Mookie now absolutely nowhere on those hard tires. Everyone around him on clean softs, and Mookie just has to stay and defend. And he looks like Alonso in Bahrain now, where he can do nothing but try and keep some positions, as his race pace is nowhere to be found with the wrong tire compound. Tronzik now ready to get an overtake back, but remember that every single bit of time they lose, every second, every corner, every lap they battle, they lose time, compared to Yuri, who's just pulling away, almost has the 3 seconds already that he needs. Which means that his win is getting more and more secure the more and more these guys battle. Here we see Mookie slowing down. Same goes for Shermanator. Mookie off the track now. Looks like he's gone into the wall there. Does not have damage miraculously, but does lose a few positions. Tronzik now getting 2nd position back. It's going to be a back and forth between these guys for a while to come, until the end of the race, most likely. Touchkey getting 9th place there, as Shermanator loses a few positions. He's down to 11th place. Almost getting ready to be attacked from behind, as well as Divine Eye is eyeing up some points in this race. Currently a small train from 2nd down to 6th, as Wazana retires as well. And there's a yellow flag being waved in Sector 1. Mazan now finishing in 17th. A horrible round for Red Bull here. Naismith DNFs twice in a row now this weekend. Arkid now gains 7th position off of Scottish. Scottish going to try and get the position back, but he stays behind, and Arkid absolutely zooming. Currently in 7th place from all the way in 19th after butching the race there, the sprint race. Currently in 7th place as Remix retakes 2nd place, and this battle doesn't just stay with these two drivers. Villiers has also joined in, and look behind, Batty is getting close to this as well. But look further behind, Jan is getting ready to join this in as well. Divine Knight getting that position off of Shermanator, gets a small contact, slides out and gives the position back to Shermanator, who's currently in 11th place. Does pick up some points with that, with our scoring system, but it won't be enough to retake some places from Williams. But if Tronzik drops further and further behind, they might just do it with Arkid in 7th place. Tronzik unable to do anything just yet. See that he does have DRS and Remix does not. But not enough speed yet from the Williams car. Villiers now getting ready to attack, very close, but Jan behind as well. All of these drivers getting really close to getting more positions. But look, the more these guys battle, the further Yuri pulls away. But the more they battle, the more that Arkid can join in as well. You can see him in the back of the screen there, rounding the final corner. Villiers now with the DRS and the slipstream going 3 wide. No, it does not. Tronzik getting in first of these cars, getting 2nd place, and Villiers as well through to 3rd. Remix dropping down to 4th, losing 2 positions. Jan also making it through into 5th, and Paddy dropping down to 6th. And again, Arkid only benefiting from everything that's going on in front of him. With all these drivers battling, they're all losing time. He's going to secure some time for Arkid. He's gained a few tenths already on this lap. Hopefully joining in this battle for the final 5 laps as well. Yuri still clear. If he doesn't gain any penalties and keeps this up on this pace, he does indeed score the win. Tronzik now in 2nd place. Not going defensive. Doesn't need to go defensive. Further down, nothing yet either. Up until 6th. Anyone can still finish on this podium. Currently 2nd place inhabited by Tronzik. 3rd place by Villiers. But that can happen to anyone in the top 6 at this point. Even top 7. As Arkid is pulling within that 2nd. There he is, getting closer and closer and closer to this battle. Tronzik now having to defend from so many cars behind. Feels the pressure. Might just push a little bit too hard on those tires. As we have Villiers going on the inside. Remix there as well, but decides to back off a little bit as he doesn't think he's got that. And Villiers currently taking 2nd place. And look at the gaps. Yuri pulling away further and further. And Arkid now almost within that 2nd. Might just get it on the next DRS. And there he is, joining in the fight. Just what he needed. Some more battling in between. Tuchki now dropping back a little bit. He's on the medium tire, because I don't think he had more softs in him. So he's on the medium tire now, battling with Spongy. Same age softs, which should drop off a tiny little bit now compared to the mediums, but still have a bit more grip. Tuchki still keeping that position. Jan now in 5th place, looking to get a podium finish here in Barcelona. Doesn't yet make it, because this train is so strong. All these drivers know exactly what they're doing. We got Tronzik looking to get that position back with the strategy here. But Villiers, Sir Villiers, clear by half a second. Should be just enough for Tronzik to make a move. And does he do it? He does. He sends it all the way onto turn 1. Absolutely blasting it. And getting past. A very clean move from very far away. Villiers now has to defend. His Remix is right behind. Arkid currently within half a second already, joining the entire pack here. Villiers now looking to make something happen. Doesn't go for it. Decides that it's in his best interest to stay behind a tiny little bit. Jan now fighting for 4th place as Remix gets the loose end of this battle. Some dirty air, some wrong lines. Jan a very good exit there out of turn 5 and 6. On to 7 now and is ahead. Currently P4. Getting really close to that podium position now. But look at P7 Arkit from 19th. Back to your screen now. Might be able to make something happen. The Mercedes drivers currently in line might be working together to get something out of this, the two of them. Because they definitely want to be on step 2 and 3 of that podium. You see Yuri can almost get another penalty for track limits and still make it in first place of the race. Villiers now 2/10 closer than Tronzik was on the last lap. Might definitely be able to send it. Tronzik might just run some lower wings because Villiers is nowhere. He doesn't get the top speed out of the car. Even with the DRS, he's absolutely nowhere in this. Arkit only creeping closer and closer to all those positions. Alpine getting very happy probably when they see this. Shermanator down in 12 doesn't do much for them. But the gap between Arkit and Tronzik is going to define what the standings will be. There's 1 point separating the two. Currently Williams taking the advantage, but Arkit getting really close to doing something about it. Tronzik getting attacked and Arkit attacking, so it's going exactly towards more of a tie. Currently Williams ahead by 1 point, kind of squirrely there from Paddy, leaving him vulnerable from Arkit, who does have the DRS here. But so does Paddy. No one able to make a move there. Arkit looking. The final 2 laps are about to start as Yuri is leading the pack still. 5.5 seconds ahead of second place. It's been a train and a half for now. Villiers, again, very close. 3.5 tenths, 4 tenths now behind Tronzik. Always dipping out of that dirty air there on the end of the corner. Doesn't have the top speed. What do we see here? Arkit going past Paddy here for the move. Does get 6th place here from the Mercedes driver and might be able to look for something more. 2 laps remaining. And Arkit still has every single chance that he can get. Remix looking for a move on Jan. Decides not to do it. So it would be too big of a send into turn 4. Maybe into turn 5. A bit squirrely, but does get back onto the line. But has Arkit right behind him. Which might look for a little bit of a difficult defense. Going into turn 10. Into the chicane now of 7 and 8. Small technical bit where you can make a mistake with this tire wear. All these tires are probably older. They're all older. They will be older than 10 laps right now. Villiers not doing anything about the look that he was giving Tronzik in the mirror. Tronzik going a bit deep there, but recovering from that very well. Not losing too much time. Jan looking to do something as well. He's got that 3-second penalty. And with these standings, that means it goes all the way down to 7th place, giving Remix and Arkit both positions. And Paddy as well. Villiers now does take the slipstream. Tronzik going defensive, and there we go. There is the overspeed that the McLaren was looking for all this time. And he does gain the position there into turn 1. Jan now looking to make an answer as well. Needs that gap behind him to increase, but it's just not working. The Mercedes drivers and Arkit just too damn quick as the final lap has started. And Yuri is just going around for a victory lap. Just needs to make no mistakes. Keep it clean. Jan going very deep there into turn 5. Leaves the door open for Remix, and Remix takes it for now. Has the inside into the chicane. But Jan holds on by having a better exit there. Went a little bit deeper so he gets more speed towards the end of the straight. Smoky gets a 3-second time penalty. Does not affect the standings. Sparrow also had a 3-second time penalty. Tronzik now going for a final desperate move, but he doesn't do anything. He's not close enough. Remix not close enough either. And Arkit does go for something. He's on the inside now into turn 12. Is slightly ahead, and it's for the final turns of the final section. Arkit goes around. And he now has to recover quickly or lose even more positions. Stuchki and Spongy going back through now. Arkit going to lose even more positions. Scottish going through in 9th. The winner of this race being Yuri Servilliers. Miraculously picking up 2nd place. Tronzik finishing in 3rd, right in front of Remix and Paddy. The Mercedes cars getting 4th and 5th place. Jan is 6th. Stuchki in 7th. Spongy, Scottish, and then Arkit after another incident. Getting into 10th. Divine Eye 11th. Shermanator 12th. For a horrible weekend for Alpine there. Both drivers not performing to the best of their ability. We all know that they can score a lot better. Mookie in 13th. Rios taking 14th on penalties. Sparrow 15th, and Jaspar is finally rounding the final corners in 16th. But Yuri does get the redemption round and wins again. Pole position, win in the sprint, and win in the feature race. Very good weekend all around from Yuri. Scottish picking up a few points as well after being dropped back quite a bit there. There he is, Yuri in first place. Villiers on second, and Tronzik in third. Luckily, the game does not feature the Dutch national anthem. That would be probably copyright claimed instantly. So we're celebrating now another Dutch anthem in 3 days. With Yuri being the winner of the entire weekend. I was about to say feature race, but he did indeed win the entire weekend. If you compare it to what the rest of the grid have been doing. Here we see Yuri up front after a great weekend, gathering all the points he can. If we look at the results of the sprint race, he got the fastest lap in the feature race. The fastest lap in the sprint race belongs to, I believe that's Arkid. Actually, Robinho 13.0. That would be the fastest lap, but they don't award points for that outside of the top 10, I believe. So, that being said, we're looking at this standing for the feature race. Yuri from first to first, Villiers from 8th to second. We have Paddy from 10th to 5th, Dutchke from 12th to 7th, and then Arkid from 19th, still finishing in 10th, which could have been P3, P4 even. Very unfortunate weekend for him, and Alpine will look to forget this weekend. But for now, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I've been Olaf, aka Wops Racing. You can find me on wopsracing.com, and I'll see you all next week.